The View host, Alyssa Farah Griffin, is quick to assert her stance on certain topics. Admittedly, she is in a weird place for actively not supporting the current Republican presidential nominee. Is Alyssa strategically attempting to fool viewers? Is there something else behind her actions? Alyssa Farah Griffin confuses some viewers. Undeniably, The View is in a frenzy with the current politics brewing in America. For instance, fans want Sunny Hostin and Sarah Haynes to play nicer during this heightened time. Recently, Alyssa Farah Griffin has said she believes the selection will come down to which candidate is seen as the agent of change. Surprisingly, she is strongly anti-Trump Vance, even though she is a staunch Republican. Previously, she was on Trump's team as press secretary for U.S. Vice President Mike Pence. However, even though Alyssa is showing up more and more on TV voicing her opinion, fans are still confused about her true stance. Is Alyssa Farah Griffin fooling viewers? While the political arena is heating up, The View fans aren't truly sure where Alyssa Farah Griffin stands. Although she is fairly vocal about not agreeing with specific policies that former President Trump is pushing, she doesn't clarify exactly what is holding her back from endorsing U.S. Vice President Harris. On Reddit, one user says, "Does Alyssa Farah Griffin have viewers fooled?" Then they add, "I don't understand the praise that Alyssa receives. If it's because she's a conservative that's polite and passive in contrast to Meghan McCain, then that's a pretty low bar." There are very few times on the show where Alyssa's points have sparked interesting debate. Who is Alyssa, and what does she really believe? What type of conservative is she? It seems unclear. What is the policy that prevents her from endorsing Kamala Harris? Another user says, "I completely agree. I wish someone would call her out on the policy thing. I couldn't tell you one thing about what she actually believes in. I mean, I have always assumed for the other long-standing hosts to stay, a very centrist anti-Trump Republican had to be cast in the lone conservative chair." Alyssa says she is an old-school Republican, but the topics she chooses to stand out on are relatively tame, and she largely agrees with the women. The show always was meant to showcase different views and demographics, but it doesn't quite feel like that. It feels like we largely have 5-6 centrists at the table. The view differences, to me, are quite minimal. At TheViewUp, Alyssa Farah Griffin shares how it's felt for her to not support the Republican presidential nominee for the first time in her life, and why she says J.D. Vance differs from her former boss, Vice President Mike Pence. Listen to #BehindTheDable wherever you get your podcasts. Original sound, The View. Alyssa Farah Griffin is playing the field. After the initial post, The View observers point out that Alyssa Farah Griffin is seemingly using strategy to essentially ride the fence. But another person adds, "It is very unclear. My perspective is that Alyssa is intentionally passive for strategic reasons. I think it's because she really wants to maintain a lucrative career in television, and she wants to appear to be on the right side of history. She's been on CNN nearly every day for the last several months offering commentary, and it's obvious she's trying to build a lane for herself in media." Someone else adds, "So Kellyanne, who disclaimer I loathe, was onto something when she called out Alyssa as seeing her name in lights." Yup, that's exactly what it is. I don't begrudge Alyssa for moving forward in this way, as it's far more lucrative than being a government employee, but it makes her appear disingenuous. This 100% her career strategy. If she chooses Harris, would it wreck her career? Alyssa Farah Griffin doesn't outright want to endorse U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris for the presidency, but fans think she's doing everyone a disservice. They grudge her because she's continuing to lie and weave a pernicious and manipulative false narrative. Worse, she's campaigning for Harris without endorsing her. What in bloody hell is that about? I'm confused by Alyssa as well. She has said multiple times that she doesn't want Trump in the White House, but isn't endorsing Harris or saying she will vote for her. She also says Liz Cheney is someone she deeply admires and respects, so I'm not sure what her goal is here. She is a Nepo baby. Her dad invented birtherism, and that is why she got the job with Pence. Does she bring balance to The View? Some people think Alyssa Farah Griffin is a great balance for The View. She's fantastic on tin. She's smart and concise and not dramatic. I respect her point of view. She's a great balance on The View. Someone else asks the user to explain their point. What is her point of view on The View, though? She's presenting herself as anti-Trump, but isn't clear as to why she won't endorse Kamala. What does she really believe? She is old-school Republican, conservative, like Liz Cheney. She owes no one an explanation on her choice. Voting is a private affair. She lays out facts for you to take or leave. I love Alyssa. I really admire her courage in speaking out against Trump. I personally think she holds back on expanding on her conservative beliefs too much because she prefers to find common ground with the ladies she sits with, which I definitively respect. In terms of what she believes in, she seems pretty aligned with the former Republican Party platform before Trump was in office, limited government policies. Plus, she's mentioned many times she's pro-life but believes in some access to abortion. What do you think? Is Alyssa Farah Griffin fooling The View audience? Do you understand her point? Can you clarify her stance? Drop your comments below.